cannabis?
I think it's important to recognize right away that we're talking about medical cannabis here in Peru. As far as I know, there's no discussion around recreational or legalizing any other form. So really this is about patients and it's about medicine. And it's about knowing that there are, you mentioned myths about cannabis. There are myths about the benefits of cannabis, that it cures cancer, that it has miraculous effects in certain conditions. And there are myths about the side effects, that it is a dangerous drug, that it causes addiction, or that it causes you to lead to other drugs. We have to address all of these myths with good quality science, good quality research, and then by good education to inform people of what we know. Also, it's important to inform people what we don't know. There are very many gaps in our knowledge that we need to ensure that people understand where the information is missing, that we need to fill with research. Cannabis use is chronic pain, especially neuropathic pain, which means pain caused by damage to the nerve. This happens in diabetes, as we know. There are painful diabetic neuropathies. There are painful neuropathies caused by diseases like multiple sclerosis. These have the best evidence. There's also good evidence that cannabinoids help with the treatment of nausea and vomiting, especially associated with chemotherapy with patients in cancer. And there's reasonably good evidence that cannabinoids can affect spasticity, patients who have muscle spasm associated with MS. Those are the best evidence. There is some evidence that cannabinoids may improve appetite in patients who have diseases that affect their appetite, like HIV/AIDS or cancer. And after that, the long list of other conditions, there is in some cases very limited, in many cases no evidence. This doesn't mean that it doesn't work for these conditions. It simply means we don't have the evidence, we haven't done the trials, and we simply don't know whether we can say scientifically that it's effective or not. There are many reasons why people express concerns about cannabis, and this is one of them. This concern that cannabis use leads to other drug use, that cannabis is associated with psychosis, that cannabis is associated with mental health issues. What's very challenging is to understand whether one leads to the other as a causation. In our discussions today and in the course of this next few days, we're talking about medical use of these drugs. Therapeutic use of cannabinoids for treating chronic diseases like pain and multiple sclerosis, epilepsy. The questions that are raised by the psychiatrists are really predominantly focused around recreational use. That recreational use, especially by young people early in their lives, use of strong cannabis is associated with developing mental health issues. This is not something that really is applied to the use of medical cannabis, where patients typically are much older and are using it for very different purposes. These concerns are valid, they must be listened to, and they should be studied, but as of today we don't have any strong evidence that using cannabis causes a person to go on to use harder drugs.